All right, good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to today's webinar. My name's Kevin Vogel. I have Chris Pyle here with me.
Hey,
Hi, Chris.
Hey, Kevin, how are we doing?
Good, and Ryan Lowell. Ryan, are you out there?
Good afternoon, everyone.
All right, Ryan. So welcome, everyone. We're going to be going over the top 5 Microsoft Teams trends here. And I hope, you guys ask as many questions as you want. Part of the live event from Microsoft, you have the ability to ask questions, and we'll try to answer them as we go along. So with that, let's get started.
Great, fantastic. Thanks, Kevin. Yeah, so one of the big things that we're hearing a lot about as more and more people are adopting Teams is, around governance and security. So we're going to talk about a new application that many of you who are on the phone with us here today and in the meeting have helped us develop. We're going to be talking about that. And then Ryan, he's going to be talking about what application integration it looks like utilizing Teams, Power Automate, Microsoft Forms, Power BI. It's going to be great. And then Kevin, you're going to touch on some of the new features that have been recently released and
keep being released, Chris. I'll tell you one thing about Microsoft, it's not stopping.
Yeah, it's like a fire hose. And then also today, our first time ever using Live Event. So everybody who's on the phone and on the meeting today, we are using Live Event. So we're going to just talk a little bit about Live Event, how to use that, what's the difference between Live Event and a Teams meeting. So we're going to touch on that a little bit.
And then calling, I'll tell you, we get more calls today about calling through Teams than almost any other subject.
Absolutely. There's a tremendous amount going on with that. So let's just jump right into this. The first thing we're going to talk about is team governance and security. So here's the trends that we see. As many of you know, we have migrated millions, 6 million and counting plus seats to Microsoft 365, deployed hundreds of thousands of teams, and have trained many of you. What a lot of companies right now that we're hearing about is, okay, great. Microsoft now has 75 million daily users up on Teams. We're seeing our organization adopt Teams. How do we control team sprawl? How, they're concerned about team inactivity, and what do we do with those team sites? External sharing, who's externally sharing out there? How do I know? How do we hold team owners accountable to the teams that they created? How can I gain access and insights and statistics, into my team environment? And also, how can we develop some type of automated policy-based team approval and deployment workflow so we can give the users what they're looking for, but also hold them in check with some sort of governance?
And I'll tell you, Chris, you really are right. I mean, we're every day helping customers deploy Teams. And the funny thing is, they want to deploy it, and when we go in and look, they already have hundreds of teams made, and they don't even really know it's been deployed yet.
Exactly.
So this is one of the things that a lot of companies deal with.
And what's really interesting is it's interesting because, as many of you have told us, it's a very interesting tug of war between the team owner, the line of business, and you, the IT professional. The team owner, what do they want? They want self-service, they want freedom, they want the ability to have quick turnaround, flexibility, and of course, much more than that. But on the other side, right, you have the IT professional that, really needs structure, they need control, they need visibility, they need automation to help keep up with the growth of teams within their environment, and they need to keep their teams, secure and compliant within the confines of their business or in their industry and the compliance regulatory agencies that they might have to adhere to. So it's a real tug of war between those lines of business and the IT professional and it's a fine balance. And, with that in mind, working with many of you, we created a new solution that will help you, and we call it Team Captain, which really simplifies and automates the manual approach to governing and managing while providing productivity insights of what's going on in the company's team's environment. I want to thank everybody in advance who has been, working with us as part of their CSP and helping us develop this program and this platform. We really do appreciate your input and all those in the future that are going to help us keep this thing rolling. But we think we've really got a good approach to be this choreographer between the team owner and the team administrator.
So let's see a demo. What do you think, Chris?
Why don't we just jump into this real quick here and we'll go from there.
And there it is.
Okay, so first of all, so we're inside. Now, some of you who are part of our CSP program, you are very familiar with Inscape. And so Team Captain can be within Inscape, which is, part of the Inscape program fee that you pay. So you get this automatically included. Other people can just join in Team Captain as a separate app. But the first thing is that a lot of you came to us and said, man, can you give me just a quick snapshot without having to do a lot of work of what the hell's going on in my team's environment? So what we've done here is we've made this, again, we believe simplicity is a competitive advantage, and we tried to keep it very, very simple. So here at Champion Solutions Group, we have 287 teams. And what's crazy is we only have 35 active teams. So, it's typical, right? We have 35 active. Now, well, what's active? Well, we're going to get to that in a second. You, the IT professional, will determine what active is. We also look at, team privacy. How many public teams do you have versus private teams? Team Captain is also looking at these 287 teams and how many people are sharing information and how much of that has been approved. This came from one of our beta users. They said, man, it would be great if I could find out in advance or just get a snapshot of how many internal users do you have versus external guests. And when I first looked at this, I couldn't believe how many external guests we have accessing our team's environment.
2 to 1, Chris, 2 to 1.
Yeah, pretty cool, pretty cool. But and then we give you some quick statistics here. Orphaned is something that we came up with, which basically means an orphaned account can be an account or a team that doesn't have an owner, or the team has an owner, but they haven't been active in their team, or the team owner is not licensed, or the team owner is blocked. So we bring that to your attention. And we also give you some statistics like how many teams have been created in the past 2 weeks. And we also look at how many teams are being monitored by Team Captain out of the 287 and how many of them are archived. We also bring to your attention, real quick, new inactive teams that are found, and we're going to drill into this here real quick, and then new orphan teams that have been found. And of course, you can go ahead and do these to that. So let me just jump in and let's
drill right in.
Right into. Thank you, Kevin. I'm looking for the words, and I appreciate it. So the first thing a lot of you asked us is, can you give me a simple way to just like view my teams, quick and easy? And then more importantly, what you also asked for was a way to be able to filter very simply, very easily, and to be able to really drill down in the environment. But before we drill into everything, let's just jump through. So real quick, when you're looking at this, you can see, who the team owner is, when it was created. And this is really good. It was a great suggestion from the MessageOps members of saying, Microsoft doesn't give you a way to search by department of which teams are by department. So we went ahead and created that, connecting, Microsoft.
Where's that coming from, Chris?
It's coming from Active Directory, so we're grabbing that. What applications are being used in the team, and then is it being monitored? But the great news, let me just jump over here and filter real quick and show you the power of the filters that you guys requested. You can search by, of course, team name, by team owner. And this was interesting. We said, why team owner was that important? Because if somebody retired, won the lottery, and quit your organization, you wanted to be the ability to quickly search by that person, which teams did they own, so you can then promote somebody to a new owner. You can look at date of creation, start, end date. But let's just go through here. So let me just show you some things. So you can say, look, and I'm looking for all the accounts that are teams that are not orphaned, that have external guests. from that perspective. And I'm going to say, and I'm going to say that they're active, etc. And there's a lot more that you can go ahead, and I'm going to say that they are public, and we can go for there, and you can keep drilling down, as you can see.
You got it down to one, Chris. I don't know how much more you.
Right. So exactly. So here, we went from 287 teams down to this one team that meets that filter criteria that you asked for, and which is great to be able to just drill in right by on what those filters are that you were requesting from that perspective. So here there's a team called AHCS Security Review, and you can quickly just jump into here. And if I was the team's administrator or the IT professional, I don't have team rights to do that, but I could click right in here, Kevin, and I'd be brought right into that SharePoint site to look at anything in here. I can see that this is a public team. I can see that this is not being monitored at the time. I got push button archive capability if I want. There's a brief description in here of what this team is about. We can look and quickly see who the team owners are. And we can remove this person as an owner, remove them from a team with a click of a button, who some of the external guests are that are part of this. And we can look at also the other members really quickly here. And again, if let's say we can promote one of these to the owner, if the current team owner may be retired or something, you can just a push of a button, move them, promote them to team owner. Here's the applications that are being used, etc. Last activity monitored, last reviewed. So you can get really into this pretty easily. Simply get into it.
And if it had external shares, you could see them right there.
Yeah, which
as part of it.
Yeah, we're going to do that. Let me go back to that and let's just look at that real quick. But before I do that, let me just jump into really, I think, the settings piece that I think everybody's interested in. So, really what you can do as the IT professional and IT and Teams administrator is here you can go into Team Captain, and you can say, look, I automatically want to monitor every single team. Now you can do that, or you can do it manually and say, I just want to monitor certain teams. We leave that up to you. That came from some of our beta users saying, hey, look, I don't necessarily want to look at these teams, or I don't want to have this monitoring them. So you can do it, one by one, or you can do it, globally. And then another great request came over and said, hey, listen, can you let me choose to automatically archive a team in 180 days or whatever you want? Out of the box, it comes standard 6 months, but you can go ahead and choose whatever dates that you want to automatically archive a team. We did not. We had some requests come in and say, hey, Chris, can you go ahead and automatically delete it? We decided not to delete a team. We didn't want to go that far. We'll let you guys do that, but you can automatically archive that. So then you basically empower the team owners. So basically what Team Captain is going to do, it's going to notify your team owners, the people who own these teams, of inactivity. So team owners and members, if there's no activity, Team Captain is going to notify your team owners whenever you say, if there's no activity in 30 days, 60, 90, whatever it might be, right, Kevin? Whatever you set up, Team Captain will notify the team owner.
Now, is this only teams that are being monitored, Chris, or is this every team in the book?
No, it's got to be monitored.
That's what I thought. Okay.
Yeah, it's got to be monitored. You also have the ability, we had some of you ask, hey, can I just snooze a team? Meaning, look, I set this team up and it's being used seasonally or whatever it might be. We have the ability for you to snooze a team for X amount of days. The other thing is too, is we can, when we send out these emails to your team owner, it's going to notify them, and we're going to show you an example of that in 1 second. But maybe the team owner is really busy and they don't have time to review the inactivity or perhaps what's being shared, and they want to say, can you please remind me again? And they hit the snooze button, and Team Captain will remind them again in 5 days, right, or whatever you as the IT professional do. And then we also ask the team owner, team captain does on your behalf, hey, wait a second, team owner, we notice that your team is externally sharing links to outside people, and we want to look at that every 30 days, 60 days, whatever you want to set in place. So another thing that came in is a lot of the beta users, and thank you to all the beta users out there. What you came back with and said, hey man, listen, this email that you're going to send out, you got to let us be able to configure it, because nobody will open up. None of the team owners will open it up if it comes from, you know, if it comes from team captain.
Looks like spam. Looks like
spam, phishing, or whatever.
Right.
So we integrated SendGrid. It's completely optional, free to go ahead and send it up. All you need is one person within SendGrid. You know, you enter your
Teams
email,
administrator,
whatever it might be, whoever the email might be, and you can put that in there. And you can also have the opportunity to email the complete dashboard to, you know, once a week or once a month or whoever you want it to, anytime you would like. So let me show you what the email would look like real quick for the team owner. So you'll notice here, and again, with SendGrid, you'll be able to customize this any way that you would like. But you can see here, but hey, Eric, we found that this team, right, Inscape, has been inactive for more than 30 days. You can archive this alike or whatever. You can click to archive it now. And when you click in here, it will bring you over to that Inscape team for you to view it.
Right.
And then again, if Eric was busy, he would simply click here to snooze this notification, and then whatever time period that you, the IT administrator, put on here, in team captain will go back and notify him 5 days later,
right,
just in case that he's busy from that perspective. So let's go back real quick and just show you. Let me just pull up a team here, and I'm going to go with somebody who is externally sharing information. So I'm going to go in here, and we're going to pull up that team. And so here I'm just going to jump in Inscape because we know that they're sharing. So here you can see that there's external shares that are going on. You can click in here, and right in here you'll notice that this person is sharing this screenshot with this person through Gmail. And when that email notification goes out, what they're going to see is this screen when they click on it. They're not going to see anything on the left. They're only going to see what's here. And within here, you know, the team owner will be able to say, hey, you know, I don't need to share the screenshot with this person anymore. I can delete these links if I want.
Now, you're not deleting the document, are you, Chris?
No, we're not doing that. All we're doing is just deleting that link that is being shared. And then here's where they'll sit and then confirm the review. We've selected 3 links to delete from this team. Are you sure you want to continue? And, you know, we can say, yes, that's what we want to do. And so now what happens is team captain now notifies you that this person has gone ahead and did their job and have confirmed, you know, whether it's the inactivity or their team sharing. So again, this dance between you, the IT administrator, and what happened is all automated, so you don't have to worry about it, but at the same time you are monitoring what's being shared, inactivity, etc. The other thing that we brought in that a lot of you asked for is productivity insights into what's going on within teams. We'd like to share this with our business lines, and we'd like to also look at it for the opportunity to provide training opportunities, perhaps, or, you know, spot productivity trends.
One question from the audience here, Chris. Do you know what format the team archive is in?
No, but when we get that, and we'll get back to you.
We got you. We got your email here. We'll make sure that we get back. And then, how do you? I want to read this for. How do we do the type of management without Inscape? Well,
so you can, yes, so
bunch of PowerShell scripts, I can tell you that.
Yeah, if you're going to do it, there would be a lot of heavy lifting, to put it that way. This PowerShell that would be needed. There's a lot of Graph API calls, and it's just more work. What we tried to do is, we're not saying that you can't do it without this. It's just that we've made it very easy. And I'm going to show everybody where you can go to download this trial.
One other question, and then I'll let you get back, Chris. Notifications only in email, or can you send a chat through Teams?
Yes, yes. So that was probably one of the biggest requests. So it's right now it's just email, but it's going to be done through Teams.
Okay, great. We're always developing.
We're always every 2 weeks. We're on a 2-week sprint, and yes, we will be sending them via Teams chat. Thank you for that. Really good question, and we're doing it. Okay, so here, with a lot of people working remotely, we've had a lot of you come to us and say, how can you help me? Figure out, are people utilizing the tools? Is there an opportunity for training? So what we did here within Team Captain is you can look at, like, during this, this time period, how many private chats have been handled, how many chat messages, how many calls have been made, how many meetings, who are the top team usage, what's the top features, and again, being Power BI, it's so powerful. You can, of course, blow things up any way you want. You can go ahead with Power BI and export all this data and manipulate it to your heart's content. We can look at real quick what's the top team devices that are being utilized within your organization, who's utilizing those. But then the team's usage, and this is where it gets great, and a lot of people love this, is you have the ability, again, in here to look, and you can look by person. You can pick, I just want to see how Alif is doing, or Alejandro, or Alif and Alejandro, and how many calls and has this person done. Or you can go ahead and look at it by department. So if you just wanted to say, I want to see how my accounting department is doing, you can click on the accounting, and it will bring up everybody in your accounting department, and you can see how many calls, team chats, private chats, meetings. And just me, I can see right away that there's a training opportunity, because I can see that the team here knows how to use private chats, and they use how to team meetings, but they have no chats within the team meetings. They're not chatting in the team meeting itself. So that might be a great training opportunity. But again, we know that all your lines of business, based upon what we've seen, really enjoy the ability to look and see, how many meetings are they having, who are they communicating
So
with.
You can give other people than just a Teams administrator access to this tool?
Yes, you can give people like lines of business user roles just to the metrics, not to everything else. But if they wanted to look up at the metrics just for their departments or whatever it might
great.
be.
Okay.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so we're going to hand this over here to Ryan. So that's my quick overview of Team Captain and the dance that it plays of keeping things fresh, preventing team sprawl, helping keep things active, looking at things that are being shared outside the organization. Team Captain also has a counterpart we call Captain Workflow. Now, there's two camps that we have seen, right, Kevin?
Wait. Is he a superhero? Captain Workflow?
Captain Workflow, yeah, I don't know about that. But anyway, so it goes along with Team Captain. And Captain Workflow, which Ryan's going to show you now, is really what we've seen is there's two camps, right? You have one camp, and we're not saying either one of them is right. We're just telling you the way it is. We've seen some people who say, look, we don't have really any governance. People can spin up a team, communicate and collaborate at will, and that's the way we work. Other organizations say, no. We want to put a little more governance and taxonomy, a little more rules around this, and you have to ask for permission every time that you want to create a team. So you guys came back to us and said, listen, can you help us with this? Because literally, Champion, we only have 150 plus people, but some of you have 15,000 people that work for you. So could you imagine the amount of calls that you would get if you required somebody to ask permission every single time? You would be really swamped.
Yeah.
That's all you did. So what we've done here is utilizing Power Automate, Microsoft Forms, and a couple other neat little tricks that you guys will see today is we've created this great workflow that we believe gives the team owner freedom and the ability to do self-service, but at the same time putting on some requirements and not making your job as tedious as it could be. So this team, what we're calling Captain Workflow, It is not an app. It's an actual Power Automate flow that resides inside your Microsoft Teams tenant, and it can be customized in any way that you see fit. So Ryan, why don't you take over from here, my friend?
Great, thanks, Chris. And yeah, this absolutely does go to one of those trends that we've been seeing. You know, the organizations in a lot of cases are having to lock down the ability to create teams, you know, for good or worse. You know, you have to maintain control over your environment. But as we said, Microsoft built Teams to be very self-service. You know, you want those users to be able to spin up these resources inside of Teams without having to submit a ticket and wait for it to go through all the steps and have somebody in IT responsible to log into the Teams admin portal and create it, deploy it, and then hand it back to the user. So we built this Team Captain workflow as a companion app to that Teams Captain portal. The portal is going to give you visibility into your teams, and this is going to help you deploy them. So like Chris said, we built this on top of Microsoft, their Office 365. We've got our Microsoft form, which is what receives the request from the user when they want a team created. We use Teams to actually deliver the notification to the approvers and to follow through the approval process. And on the back end, we use Power Automate to actually go through the process of processing that approval, creating the team, deploying it, and notifying everyone that it's been done. So I'll give you a little bit of a walkthrough of what that looks like. So we have our Team Captain workflow form here. This form is only accessible to the users who are inside of your tenant. They have to be logged in as a user. And we can even limit who is permitted to respond to the form in the first place. We give a team user or a name for the team that's being created. So we'll call this Team Captain Team. We'll give it a quick description. Testing 1, 2, 3. A lot of IT organizations want to know the business justification when a team is being created. A lot of security departments want to understand what's the reason for this team. Is this going to be used for people outside the organization? Are we going to be inviting guests? Is this going to be an internal sales team? So they want that justification. All right. We also put in the team owner's email address. So in this case, I'm going to use my little demo account here. And then the user has the option to set a couple of preset settings for the team. So should this be a private or a public team? Should the members of the team be allowed to edit the team, add channels and apps, or do we want this to be maybe more a little bit locked down? Should the members be able to edit and delete their messages? And this is really the beginning of where this gets powerful. This has the ability to roll out just a generic team, you know, standard team, and then have people added in for and they can put in their own content, make it customized to whatever they want. But you can also have this tool deploy a team pre-customized. We can have this come out of the box with additional channels, additional apps, additional tabs, files pre-populated. We can make the team appear in a very standardized way so that as you deploy more teams through this, they're coming out in a very consistent manner and everyone's not looking for that thing that they might have in one team, but it's missing from this other team. So the user fills out the form and clicks submit. And that's going to go off into Power Automate. Now, this is a workflow that's running in the background. Like Chris says, this runs inside of your tenant. We actually give this to you. We help you drop it inside your tenant. It's got all the core workflows set up. Once we're there, we can then customize it. And I'll show you what that looks like in a couple of minutes. So now I'm hopping over into Teams, and we can call this my IT approval team, or this could go to your security department, or it could go to your managers. Whoever you want the approval to go to, we can customize it to do that. And as you can see, just a minute ago here, we had the approval request come in as this nice card inside of Teams. So it gives us the time and date that the approval request was created. It tells us who was the person who requested it, what the name of the team is, the description, the business justification for it, and then we can choose to come in here and approve or reject. So in this case, we could click reject, and it's just going to message the person back and say, sorry, your approval wasn't approved. You're going to have to talk to your manager. Maybe they need to, you get to do something different. But if we're going to approve it, we'll say, all right, go ahead and enjoy. So we click submit, and you're going to see as soon as we click submit, within just a couple of seconds here, a couple things are going to happen. Number one, we just got a message. We'll check that message in a second. And two, boom, right there. that team has automatically been deployed by our Power Automate workflow on the back end. And if this was a customized team, there would be additional channels, there would be additional apps and things already pre-populated into it. So we can look in here, we can look at the management of the team. We can see that owner that we specified has been set as the owner of the team. The settings inside of the team have been pre-configured for us. And in the chat, assuming I was the person who requested the team, I've now gotten a message back saying it's been approved, and here's the comments back from the person who approved it.
Hey, Ryan.
Yes.
So basically what we're saying is that you guys out there, we could create different, how would you say, I noticed that you had a sales team where it could say, here's the approved applications that are allowed in there, whether or not you're allowed to share information externally, and maybe anybody in accounting, it's only a private team, there's no public allowed. So really what you're saying is we can customize this governance to anything that the end users might want.
Absolutely. This is just the beginning. This is really just the skeleton of what you can make this. And as we said, we put this into your tenant. So you can make your own customizations based on how the business works, and we can help you with building those customizations. Maybe you want more than one level of approval. Maybe you want the request first to go to a manager and then to go to IT. Or you want additional notifications. Maybe when a new team is created, you want your information security team to be notified so they can start keeping an eye on things. There's all different things that we can do inside of Power Automate. Anyone who's seen this knows it's extremely flexible, but we have given you here the skeleton of how you build that out. We use the Power Automate built-in functionality as well as the Microsoft Graph API. We go in here and we can call these various different team creation scripts, and we can customize this to suit whatever you need it to do. So, like I said, this is just the skeleton. The amount of things that we can do to customize this and make it yours is really pretty incredible. All right, then Kevin, our
yeah, okay. Well, look, Ryan, really slick. It's really good stuff here, and I know a lot of people are really enjoying this already, and we hope that many of you will take over. So, Kevin, if somebody wanted to go ahead and give this a try, what you would want to do is just go ahead to this login screen here at the bottom, which is
MessageOps.com.
Right, /Microsoft-Teams-Governance, and you can go ahead and you can view the pricing as well as start a trial. But again, we are very excited so far. We have tens of thousands on the beta already. Really, everybody's really enjoying it, and nothing but great compliments so far. And it's really increasing people's productivity, reducing their costs, and helping them mitigate their risks when it comes to this ever expanding team environment that most people are dealing with. But again, MessageOps.com /Microsoft-Teams-Governance, and you can simply sign in with your Microsoft credential. You do need to be a global admin. It is token-based authentication, and you do, and it's and you'll see what's required in order for the app to access it. So please give it a try. Okay, right, Kevin.
Let's get on the features.
Some new features. Yeah, I want to do that too.
So, there was Power Automate. So we'll skip right back then. So first of all, I just want to let you know this just came out yesterday. Explorer 11, Internet Explorer 11, starting on November 30th, 2020, so right around the corner, will not support all the new features in Teams. So I just want to let you know that, something that Microsoft announced just yesterday. So I wanted to make sure that this was in the slides that we did today. So some of the updates, especially people, now that we're working from home or working on the road, things on the iPhone are becoming really big. Now you can actually see on your iPhone a 2x4 screen, so you can get 8 people in a Teams meeting right on your iPhone where you can see the video. And if you have an iPad, you can actually get a 3x3, so you can get 9 people on a screen, pretty much like you can on your Windows PC. Also on Android, for those of us that use the Android apps, there are safe keys now that they've just enabled. So there's a lot of things like customizing the left side of your toolbar that just got announced, and live events. I don't know if you know this or not, but you can get up to 20,000 people on a live event simultaneously, and it's part of your subscription. Whether you have an E1, an E3, an M SKU, it doesn't matter. With Teams, you get live event, and like I said, right now it's up to 20,000 people, and interactive meetings are up to 300 people. So this is really a great tool. So I did this little recording here so I can show you how to enable these new features. All you need to do is go up to your picture up at the top and go down here to settings. Inside the settings tab, you're going to see a new button that says turn on new meeting experience. So click on that button and then get out. You don't have to save or anything like that, but you do have to close Teams completely. So close it up here at the top, but more importantly, down in the bottom in your taskbar down here, click on the little up arrow, right click on the Teams icon and hit the quit sign. And what that's going to do, it's going to turn Teams off completely so that it's all the way off. And then once you boot it back on, all the new features will be available to you. So one of the new features is now all of your meetings will actually be in a separate window. Same thing with your chats if you want them to be. So this gives you a separate window. It also gives you your toolbar up at the top of the meeting. As you can see here, you can break out your chats also right out of this new, out of the new Teams client. You also get some of the new ways to hold a meeting. So like a large gallery, you can get 49 people on the screen simultaneously playing videos all through your same internet connection. So makes it real nice to hold big meetings. But the one thing that everyone loves is the together mode. And right now, all they have is an auditorium, like you could see, and where they put them in seats, I don't know, but they actually just assign seats out there and you get them. And then there's the standard gallery mode, which gives you 9 people on the screen. And then of course, the people on the bottom of the screen, you can bring up to the top. So I'd like the gallery mode. It really gives us the ability to see a lot more people. You'll notice that the taskbar for Teams now is at the top of the screen. So it really does give you a lot more visibility. It doesn't pop up in front of your presentations or do any of those type of things like we used to do. And in here, you can actually do things like raise your hand and do those type of different things. Now, just to let you know, there's also a Meet Now button. So if you want to start meeting with some people right now, you can join the meeting. You can invite additional people to the meeting very, very easily. And you can apply now your new backgrounds. I don't know if you know about this, but you can actually add customized backgrounds by clicking on there, clicking on a background, and then it becomes available to you as one of the backgrounds you could use behind your camera. And it works very quickly. One of the new features is once you pick a background, it will stick with you until you uncheck that background. Now, one of the things that they also did is when you start a meeting now and you're the one that starts it, you can end the meeting for everyone. Instead of them having to leave the meeting or things like that, you can actually end the meeting, whether it's a one-on-one meeting or whether it's a group meeting or any of those type of things. Obviously, all of these chats are still there, but they're just not down into the middle section of it. So you can see a lot of new things. Focus, when you're presenting content, you can actually hit the focus button. It gets rid of everything except the presentation. And like I said, you can also customize the left-hand side of your Teams environment and be able to change the order, add applications. And like I said, there are new things coming out all the time in Teams, and they really do give you a lot of new features. And as you can see, These are just some of them, like we talked about, the together mode, the large gallery that we talked about, meeting and call controls at the top, which I think is great. The focus mode, so when you're looking at a presentation, you don't have all the ancillary information. So really great way to keep updating Teams. We got some questions, Chris?
We got one that came in from Joe. Good question. Do we know the limitations on importing the backgrounds? Do we know what the limitations are yet?
I know that you can only go up to certain resolutions that actually work. I haven't gone anything past a 4K. I know that there are 8K pictures out there and things like that, but the number of ones, I only have 20 or 30 in there. So I don't know if there are any limitations. I will tell you though, if you use Teams on multiple devices, when you import them, they're for that device only. So if you go to another device, that picture that you're used to using maybe at home won't be available on your work PC. You're going to have to import it because it's actually saved locally in the Windows operating system.
I also heard recently, I was on a Microsoft event and they were saying that the size of the images, they're going to be enlarging them.
Oh, see, that's right. Yeah,
that's what I've heard.
I didn't hear that. So, and then live event, what we're doing here today. So this is, almost like a mystery to people. People say, well, what is live event? Do I have it?
Well, I think the bigger question is people say, I get all the time is, well, what's the difference between a team meeting versus a live event?
It's a great question. Well, in a team meeting, you have what's known as participants. Participants means that they can share their screen, they can talk during the meeting, they can chat with people inside the meeting, they can participate in the meeting. In a live event, you're an attendee. Unless you're a presenter or a producer, and a producer is the one that actually says what goes on camera, right? Just like you would when you're broadcasting. Only those people can participate in the live event. All other people are just attendees. Mm-hmm. So it really is a distinct difference between the two. Now, you can enable, and I'm going to show you some of the features, you can enable question and answer like we're doing today, but you could also turn that off. So it's really, a lot of people are using this. I have some customers, they're actually using this and almost creating a YouTube channel where you can, because these are recorded, all of your live events are recorded. You can almost build a YouTube channel for all of your live events and open it up to the public and let them watch it whenever they want. So it's almost like live event on demand, right? Like you have at home for TV. So it works the same way. So the way it works with a live event, instead of creating a new meeting, you'll notice that there is a arrow next to the new meeting. If you click on that, it's going to say new live event. And then you're going to get a screen just like this. You'll be able to put in the title. If you have Teams meeting rooms that you want to use, you'll be able to select them from the location tab here. Obviously, you put in the date when and time that you want it to start and end, and then any information on the details of what that's going to be. Now, you are by default, the person that creates this meeting is the producer, but you can also promote someone else to a producer and demote yourself down to a presenter. That's totally up to you. And you can have as many, and I don't think there is a limitation that I found on the number of presenters that you can have inside the meeting. So once you create that, the next page that you got is you can actually say, who is my audience? Who's going to be the ones that is watching this live event? So whether it's just people in groups, so I can go in here and just select certain people that I want to be part of the live event. I can make it org-wide, or if I've gone in and changed my policies on my live event inside your Teams Administrator console, I can enable it to be a public live meeting like we're doing today. So, but that has to be configured inside the Teams administration console. Once you do that, then you can go down here and you can make recording available to attendees. You can get an attendee engagement report, which will show all the people that actually attended the meeting. and you can enable a Q&A session like we are today, where you can ask questions with this. Go ahead.
Yeah, so a great question here from Robert James. He's running a city, and they're now using live event meetings. He says the biggest struggle that they're having is getting outside individuals to be presenters for a live event. He wants to know, is he alone in that? I would say that what I've heard, again, is live event is not as simple as, a team meeting. Robert, Kevin, from what you've seen, or Ryan.
You can cheat.
You can
and,
cheat.
Yeah, the cheater is.
You hear that, Robert?
You can cheat. Get a free Microsoft account. Usually the reason why you can't is because those people are either on Exchange on-premise, where they don't have an Office 365 account, or some type of cloud-based Microsoft authentication, which you do need.
But you set up a free trial then, or something?
It's not even a free trial. You can go in and get a free Microsoft account. All you got to do is go to Microsoft, Outlook.com, and get a free account, and then you'll be able to have them join in with that account.
Well, there you go, Robert. One way to get around it is to cheat.
Yeah, cheat.
But that's the way. But we'll follow up with you on that, and we'll send you how to do that. So thank you for the question.
All right. You can also go ahead.
Just a quick question. Another way, is a live event a separate license, or does it come with Business 365?
No, it comes with Business 365. It's part of your Teams license. Like I said, if you go into your calendar where it says new meeting, there should be a down arrow right next to it. Click on that, and live event will be right there, and you can go ahead and set up a live event.
Gotcha. Thank you.
Okay. So, and you can also go in here, and once this is over, you can go in and download the recording. You can download the Q&A report. You can download the engagement report. So you can get all the information from your live event just that easy, just that quick. So with that, I'm going to hand it back over to Ryan, who's going to be covering calling. And like I said, this is probably the hottest topic that we're getting today, especially with people working from home, wanting to use a corporate asset to make phone calls. So I'm going to allow Ryan to gain control here. And
I just wanted to go back to, before we hand it over to Ryan, I just love this community that we have here. That one question, that Robert James had, with the city inviting. We had a couple people come in and said about the allowing people to do that is the ability to, you can add them as a guest in your Active Directory. That's one way to do it. And then somebody else said you just have to invite a member and have them confirm their email address within live event, and they said that they'll be able to present.
Oh, that's great. So, okay, so we're learning.
Yeah, great. Yeah, we're learning, and that's what I love about our MessageOps members. I just love the way everybody helps each other. So, Robert, thank you for that, and everybody who contributed, thank you for your speaking up. And Sean Doris, yes, this meeting is recorded.
It's by default. The live event is recorded,
and it will be shared.
All right, Ryan, it's all yours.
All right, everybody. So I'm just going to go to the next slide here. All right, so one of the other things that we've been hearing a lot from our customers is asking about the Teams phone system capability. So for those of you who aren't familiar, Teams is not just for online chats and calls and meetings and things like that, but Teams can actually act as your entire phone system. This can be your virtual PBX in addition to all the normal Teams functionality that you've seen. This has been especially important, especially because of COVID and everybody sending their workforces home to work remotely or out of the office. Your phones don't always go with you. So if you're in a Teams phone system, as we are, the change to working from home was just as easy as go home and log into Teams. Really wasn't much of a change. So the Teams phone system does have the capability to be a pretty good entry-level to mid-level PBX system. The nice thing is that it's unified with all the rest of the things you do in Teams. So if you're already using Teams for your chat and your collaboration, your meetings, your conference calls, all of that is going to work very seamlessly together with the Teams phone system. It does have all the features that you would expect out of a normal business phone system. So it's got all the auto attendance and ring groups and the nice music on hold and voicemail to email, and it follows you around. You can log in on your mobile device or your desktop. And there are also plenty of hardware available through all the different manufacturers you'd expect, Polycom and Yealink and many, many others. They have both the desk phones headsets, speakerphones, conference room systems. So fully functional, fully fleshed out line of hardware for you to use for your Teams phone system. Now, it does have a few limitations. The downside to the Teams right now is that it's not quite fully featured yet for things like call centers. If you have a heavy-duty, large call center and you need some advanced call center functionality, things like listen in, barge in, various types of metrics and things like that, advanced metrics that you would need to run a call center, Teams isn't quite there yet, although that is coming down the line for early 2021. They do have some of that stuff on the roadmap. Now, today, to get Teams set up, you've got a couple of different options for phone system. Every user can have what's called an audio conferencing license first off, and this isn't truly in the phone system, but it falls in the same neighborhood. Audio conferencing allows you to have users call into your meetings using a phone instead of joining them by Teams. These are for your normal Teams meetings. This can be added completely separate from the phone system. You don't need to do any of the other phone system stuff. Just that Microsoft 365 audio conferencing license, you add it onto your user, and when they send out their meeting invitations, it'll have a phone number for their attendees to call in as well. In order to use the full phone system functionality, you do need to get your users a phone system license. That's normally an $8 per user at the retail price, or if you are in the Microsoft 365 E5 license, it's actually one of the things that's included. In fact, the audio conferencing is also included in that E5 license. In addition to the phone system license, you also need to give your users minutes. We got to get them dial tone. So how do we do that? You've got two different options. The first and the simpler option is to use Microsoft's calling plans. You can subscribe to phone service directly through Microsoft. You have a domestic calling plan and a domestic and international calling plan. Those are $12 and $24 respectively. They give you thousands of minutes. It's effectively unlimited, and you can very easily set those up, assign those licenses just like you would any other license outside of Office 365. The user gets a phone number, they can start making and receiving calls. This is usually what we say is the best option for under 250 users or so. The reason for that is not necessarily from a technical reason, but because the cost per user doesn't scale up as nicely after 250 users. That's sometimes the better time to go with the second option. The second option for doing telephony inside of Teams is what's called direct routing. Under direct routing, you're not buying your minutes directly from Microsoft. You can actually use, in some cases, your existing telco provider. And instead of going through Microsoft, what you do is you connect Teams through a session border controller, which is a device or virtual appliance that can connect Teams to other providers. That can allow you to do one of two things. One, you can connect to these third-party telco providers to get minutes and dial tone into Teams. In some cases, a lot more economically than those domestic and international calling plans, especially if you have hundreds or thousands of users, that can be much more economical. The other thing that it can allow you to do is to integrate Teams phone system with your on-prem PBX. So if you do have large call centers that have an existing PBX, maybe a Cisco call manager, something like that, you can actually use that session border controller and direct routing to connect that with your Teams phone system. So in general, that's a little bit more complicated to set up, but it does scale up better in terms of cost, and it also allows you to do those on-prem integration, which the calling plans are not going to. So it does give you some interesting options. We've had a lot of interest in this, like I've said. So if anyone's interested in getting a quote or having a phone system scoped out, try to figure out how to get to where you are now into using Teams for your phone system, we're happy to help with that as well.
Great stuff. Really, really powerful. Thank you so much for that, Ryan. We're trying to be cognizant of everybody's time. We're coming up on the hour. And we've had several people ask where can we do the free download of Team Captain.
Oh, well, we can just take them back to that one, one slide. Yeah. So,
but again, once again, the URL down there is where everybody was asking us for, and the pricing is on there as well. Okay, so really that's it. We're up on the hour. We will be sending out this video along with the associated content to everybody. And just again, I know many of you know this, but we are Teams experts. We've done tremendous amount of work. We do a tremendous amount of work with Power Apps, Flow, etc. And
training is a big deal right now.
Right now, we can do administration training. We can do end user training. Doing a lot of Skype to Teams. And again, we're looking forward to deploying a team captain for you guys, as well as, of course, Captain Workflow to help with that. And also, one of you lucky winners is going to be receiving a nice Yeti cooler. I have that Yeti cooler, and let me just tell you something. It keeps those beers cold. That's all I can tell you. And it does work out well. So
if you have any questions for us, you can always go to info@messageops.com. You can call us directly at 877-788-1617, and we'll get one of our team specialists on the phone, try to answer any questions you might have.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, we appreciate all the business, and we appreciate the community very much for supporting us in our email, our LinkedIn, our YouTube channels, and we really enjoy the suggestions to make our platforms better and to help you guys in their day-to-day business. So Kevin, thank you, great job today. Ryan, thank you very much, and we look forward to working with you guys soon.
Right, stay safe out there. I had to end it.